have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world. When you hit that play button, so glad you did. This is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina coming at you with another episode here of the Genesis Frequency Podcast. I want to thank you, each and every one of you, whether you're brand new, whether you've just listened a few times, whether you're returning and you've been with me from the beginning. I just want to shout out to you and say thank you and let you know that I'm filled with appreciation for each and every listener. So just want to get that out there to you. Thank you. Thank you. When I started this, there wasn't, podcasting was, just getting going, and I had jumped in, and now there's just so many out there. So I know you have a lot of choices. So I just want to thank you and appreciate you again. This is for this is a show for individuals, small businesses, and those in the corporate environment, all looking to improve every aspect of themselves, of their business, of their corporate culture, and to make a transformation, perhaps even a radical transformation in their lives. Quantum leap goal achievement, moving from where we are to where we want to be, and making those jumps, because what I talk about here is big dream goals, big dream objectives. So often we have just put that imagination away. We let it go as we grew older. It was really good when we were kids, wasn't it? We could do anything with a cardboard paper towel tube or a wrapping paper roll and a towel for a cape. Boy, we could do a lot of different things, but then we put the imagination away. So I like to talk about the big dreams that we should, again, dust off and engage with, and that's what this show really is all about. So thank you for being here, and I hope that I share with you things that have worked for me in my life and have moved me a long way from what I used to be to where I am now. Because everything I talk about, I've used in my own life. I've proved it and put it to work in my own life. So, these are principles. The principles of how we're wired. There's a lot of spiritual principles in here, scientific principles, metaphysical principles, principles of how our subconscious mind is working with our consciousness. And, a lot of this, it all goes into what I share with you. So let's dive in to the last episode. I did ramble a little bit, and I don't want to do that today. But, well, it's all about rambling, isn't it? Well, we left off last week with looking at the intangible aspects of character. And the more I was thinking about this show for today, yes, we want to look at those intangible aspects of character, but we want to look at them as more than just aspects of character. We really want to look at some of these things, and I'll talk about some of these potentialities or capacities. We really want to look at them as our superpowers. And we can't just set them aside if we want to develop them and have them become powerful tools, really power tools to support us and for us to call on and utilize on this positive path for living life. So, what I was talking about as I wrapped up the show last week was talking about those affirmations again and those affirmative statements that we make to support the life we would love to live. And we usually have a big dream goal based on, something we want as an individual or in our small business or within our corporate environment, corporate goals. And we know what that thing is. We've identified it. Go back to the beginning of this year. I've really set up from day one, even the end of December of last year, this to be a lesson in manifestation. So go back and really identify, if you haven't or if you're new, really identify what you want. Start listening to some of those older podcasts or those podcasts from the beginning of the year. And so we identified this, and then we've moved into the clearing space, identifying what was holding us back and what is holding us back. And we have committed to continuing to do this work. And then we affirmatively have stated the design that we're holding in mind. So, again, let's use some examples, whether it's health and physical fitness, whether it's financial, time and money freedom, or around relationship, we can define and establish and design an affirmative statement that's supportive. And we want to move these in and utilize these all the time because it's one of the tools we use to deny the power of the habit, the habitual way of the old thinking that is still trying to be dominant. It's a dominant habitual thought that has been a blockage for us. So we move in the affirmative statement. I'm so happy and grateful. I am now at fill in the blanks. I am now at my ideal weight of, or I'm so happy and grateful. I am now financially independent with a net worth of, fill in the amount. And that's your affirmative statement based around your goal, your dream, your desire. And what I was suggesting at the end of the last podcast was these intangible things that we can't ignore. Yes, we have defined our goals. We have defined some habits that need to go, and we have to move in this constant spaced repetition because it's the only way we change paradigms, either through emotional impact or constant spaced repetition of the desired state we want to achieve. So, knowing this, we have to also pay attention to these intangible aspects, these intangible capacities, these intangible potentialities that are our spiritual and our mental superpowers. Okay, so that's where we left off, and so let's talk about some of these things because this is going to be another one of those categories or subjects that we carry over into probably several episodes here. So let's start wrapping our head around this now. We want to design affirmative statements around these intangible things to remind us these are tools that we use so we can state in a positive way once we really know what they are. So I guess we'll start there, really. Are you familiar with your mental faculties? What do you have at your disposal? Are you familiar with what's in your intangibles toolkit, your spiritual toolkit, your consciousness toolkit? These are, let me just spit several of them out that we'll be talking about. And I'm talking about, if we look at mental faculties and faculties that serve us and that we can really develop, we're looking at memory, we're looking at intuition, we're looking at reason, we're looking at perception, we're looking at faith and in our beliefs, examining that faith, strength. Strength's got a bunch of different definitions. We're not talking about physical strength here. We're talking about mental, emotional, and spiritual strength. Wisdom, being aware of the wisdom that we have access to, wisdom and and love, one of the most powerful things that we can utilize in our toolkit. power, power itself, power, imagination, understanding, will, wrapping our mind around being in harmony with order, enthusiasm or zeal, whatever you want to call it. That is so powerful when we're talking about emotional state and vibration, renunciation or elimination. Constantly being at work, recognizing what needs to be released and let go. It's a constant process of pulling weeds and planting the flowers, right? It's a good way to think of elimination and life itself. And I think I want to start really with life because, yeah, life is a superpower. So many of us identify this body that we get to use as what we are, as life. And yes, it is, but in the context that we're talking about here, I want you to really look at life as so much more than just your physical body. Your physical body has captured this energy that we're all immersed in. It's captured a portion of this energy and utilizes it, apprehends it to live in this bag of bone, this skin suit that we have on to navigate this earthly environment. But there's so much more to life to us. And I really want you to start thinking of life with an uppercase L and how sacred and how divine and how there's so much more to it than just the physical body that you happen to be in, for such a brief time, really, when we look at it in the scope of eternity. And when we start looking at life with the uppercase L, yes, we can apprehend more of it. We can utilize more of this energy. So look at life as energy and energy that's here to support us. We're immersed in it. We're living in an ocean of motion and vibration and frequency, and life is just so much more. We can look to Kirlian photography and see that life and our energy radiates beyond the confines of the surface of our skin, and it extends outward, and in some cases pretty far outward. And so this is all the energy field that we are, and our body's only part of it. So don't ever let yourself feel limited by what you think or what you believe your body can and cannot do. So we want to use life affirming statements about life itself, and start to look at life as a superpower. Start to look at life from the perspective of eternity, of being eternal, of being instructible, of being perfect. This energy is perfect that we apprehended and we have living us and breathing us in these suits. Think about it and think how powerful that life energy is, right? It's breathing us. You can't even breathe yourself. It's breathing us. It with an uppercase I. And this should be cherished and this should be affirmed. I'm so happy and grateful for the life that I get to live, for the energy that this life is in me. So we're thinking of it in much broader terms. We're thinking of life outside the box. We're thinking of life illogically. If you're used to being really logical and living life from the intellect, we want to think of life as just expansive and unlimited and just a spiral upward pull into greater and greater and greater and more and more and more and more. So life is, we have to come at it from that perspective. So that's why I wanted to start just talking about that a little bit. And this has nothing to do with religiosity or where you are as far as your path of faith-based beliefs. So we're not going there and prescribing something different than perhaps you've embraced and made part of of living and part of your belief system. I respect all of that. And all of this that I share in here is supportive of wherever you are on your path. So let's look at some of these things and how they're supportive, because sometimes we get so carried away and manifest, law of attraction. I got to do this, but we don't realize that those things are all results. They're all effect, and we have to be in a place of pause. So we've identified the dream, right? We identified what we want. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am financially independent and I have assets totaling over. And we have identified that. We've written it out in a positive affirmative statement, a present tense statement, and we've written it on our goal card or on our index card. We carry it with us. We say it several times a day. We write it out by hand several times a day. We're doing that work. We're replacing the old way of thinking with the new thought, the new objective, the new goal. We're making it a reality and consciousness now, because remember, our subconscious mind has no ability to reject it. So it is a reality for our subconscious mind, and it is a reality because we've already created in the invisible world of non-form, so it is real. We're just wrapping around it our energy, feeling, and emotion, right? We're adding life to it, right? We're giving life to the idea. We're giving life to the dream. We're infusing it with life. We're taking this substance that's available to us that we've molded and shaped, and we're bringing it into the world of form through our affirmative statements, our feelings and emotions, establishing the frequency within ourselves of what we want to achieve. We're matching the frequency is probably a better way to say that. So to do that, we have to look at some of these other things. Let's look at at faith, for instance. Now, faith, I'm not talking about what your set of, like I just talked about, your set of beliefs or religiosity. I'm talking about just faith in your belief in yourself, faith in your ability to move forward, faith in your ability to be successful, faith in your ability to accomplish, faith in your ability to succeed. Where is that faith? We all have plenty of faith. We all have plenty of faith. Just, ask anyone who has a teenager, and they're waiting up and that teenager's an hour late. Well, you have faith. What do you have faith in? Are you having faith in your son or your daughter? Are you having faith in poor decisions that they'll make? We have this beliefs system of usually anchored in worry, doubt, and fear. So we have to establish this intangible power tool in our consciousness as well as our goal and dream. And that's what I'm getting at here. And that's how I ended the last episode. We have to establish this. We have to establish this faith. So we're going to do the same thing with these intangibles and these power tools, these superpowers that we have available to us, all of them: faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, enthusiasm, life itself, memory, intuition, reason, thanksgiving, forgiveness, all these things we want to make more dominant in our consciousness and in our character. So just looking at faith or just looking at life, what are some affirmative statements that you can design for yourself to support you on this path of goal achievement? I have faith in my ability to be successful in everything I undertake to do. See, it's very simple to just rattle these off. When you get one that you really feel into energetically, write it down, make it your own, and build these. Put it on an index card. I still have them. I have a stack of index cards. When I used to be a mall walker, before the gyms and treadmills. I'd go to the mall and I'd walk, and I have all these cards with all these statements on them over and over and over, just looking at my cards with repeating them, sometimes out loud if there weren't a lot of people around, over and over and over and over again, just drilling them into my conscious mind, affirmative statements, and they became a part of my character and who I am. So we want to do this. So let's, for this episode, look at faith in life and design some. I'd love to have you share those with me. And if you are so inclined, put them in the comments section. But this is so important. And this is how we start to really develop that newer self-image that's so important, and a really firm, solid belief in what we're doing here, and a firm, solid belief in our goals and what we're able to accomplish in our lives, because really our potential is unlimited. But so many of us don't believe in that, don't believe that we have what it takes. And your belief in you is really what's going to move you past some of those fears that will come up. It's going to move you along. It's going to motivate you and propel you day in and day out. So work with statements of faith. Really identify, you should have done this. We did a whole episode on your beliefs. You've identified what you believe in. You identified perhaps some things that you believe in that aren't true. Like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, and you're getting rid of those. So design some faith-based statements that are supportive of the life you would love to live. I have total faith in my ability to achieve all that is mine to do. And write some for yourself, and work these out. And we're going to go through each of these. We're going to go through faith and strength and wisdom and love and power and imagination and will and order and enthusiasm and releasing and elimination and life. Again, we'll touch on that, and memory and intuition and reason. We're going to hit on all of these. So I want you to just start thinking of the intangible that you want to move in, that are superpowers of consciousness that you can utilize to move you from where you are to where you want to be. Hey, we're going to run out of time already for today, and I just get so pumped up about this, because these really, I started utilizing these tools without even knowing it. And then as I started to recognize them, I started to develop them, and they really do become superpowers in our lives to call on all the time. Hey, we're out of time for today, but I want to invite you again to reach out to me if you want to talk about this one on one with whatever you're working on in your life. Stephen, Stephen at successocean.com. Stephen at successocean.com is my email. But the best thing to do is really get on my calendar, successappointment.com. Not a website, not a sales page. It's just my calendar opening up in your time zone. You pick a time that works for you, and we can have a conversation. Successappointment.com. Or go to the website, successocean.com, and there's some discovery questions you can fill out on there, a form going into a little bit more detail what you're working on for yourself, your small business, your corporation, successocean.com. I do this one-on-one work with individuals all over the world, do workshops and do keynote speaking, do corporate training, and all kind of things. So reach on out. Let's have a conversation. And if you're so inclined to step into the lifestyle of working anywhere in the world with a laptop and phone and the wonderful world of being an entrepreneur, go to successocean.biz, successocean.biz, and check out the new video I posted in there not too long ago, and talking about the very lucrative lifestyle of being an entrepreneur. Maybe something for you that you might be interested in. For now, that'll do it. This is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kismina, and you've been listening to the Genesis Frequency. I wish for you an infinitely spectacular